Hello. In this video, we're going to take a look at using StatCrunch to find some information about our data. We've talked about the topic of standard deviation, and I want to show you how you find it in StatCrunch. And we're also going to find a bunch of other things that we're going to use when you make box plots, the 5-number summary, basically, that will be shown in a separate video. But here is a homework problem. This is from section 3.2. This is problem 12. You've got a list of data listed below the amounts in dollars it costs for a marriage proposal packages at different baseball stadiums. Find the range, variance, and standard deviation. So the units of the data is in dollars. That's going to be important because they're going to want us to include units in our results. And then they want to know if there are any outliers and are they likely to have much an effect on the measures of variation. So you have everything from $37 to $3,000. It asks us to find the range. You should be able to find the range without using StatCrunch. 3,000 minus 37. 37 is the lowest, 3,000 is the highest. That will be your range, but let me show you that StatCrunch will even give you that. So you just have to understand what the range is. And I click on this box and I open in StatCrunch. And I get what looks like a spreadsheet. And the first box is highlighted. This is column var1. I want to do a calculation on these statistics. So I go over to, if I'm looking for the 5 numbers, if I'm looking for standard deviation, range, anything like that, median, mean, it'll be in this stat menu, and you do summary stats. And your data is in columns, so you pick columns. You select the column you're working with in case you had 2 sets of data, or you could add 2 columns. I want the stats for column var1, and then it'll give me these statistics if I just hit compute. Now, it gives me all kinds of stuff. N is the number of data points. The mean is 437.6. The variance, which we've talked about, is 636,307.26. That'll be dollars squared. The mean will be $437.6. The standard deviation is in the same units as the data. The variance is in the units of the data squared. Standard deviation, 797.68887. We're going to round that because our data has no decimal places. It's an integer. We're going to round to 1 decimal place. So we're going to use the standard deviation as 797.7 if I'm asked for that. But look, standard error, that's something we'll talk about later in the course. Median, we've discussed. It does that. You don't even have to count and figure that out. Range. It did 3,000 minus 37 for you and gave you the range. So if I want to leave that window open, I just leave that open and I click back on my data. I say, oh no, I've forgotten what the range is. I was supposed to type it. You can't see this, but I'm going down and I'm hovering over my browser icon, and it shows me I still have that. It shows me 2 windows. One of them is StatCrunch. What was that number I wanted again? So you'll want to have pencil and paper, unlike me here. 2,963. I actually do have pencil and paper, but so then I click on this. Now that StatCrunch is not gone. I have to click 2,900. Why is this not letting me type? Oh, probably because I don't have this turned on. No, I do have it turned on. 2,000 there. I didn't have the number lock on. 2,963. The range is in the same units. Everything's in the same units as. So what is this? This is $37, $50. It's not how many stadiums you're proposing in. It's how many dollars it costs. You got to read the problem to do that. I'm a math teacher. Teaching reading is not my thing, but you get better at this with practice. Listed below are the amounts. Parentheses in dollars means they're in dollars. So it says type an integer, do not round. I click check answer, which you probably can't see, and I get that. So the standard deviations, oh no, I lost the window. You can't see it, but I'm going to go down below what I'm showing you on my screen. And now you can see 2 things popped up probably. I'm hovering on my Chrome icon, and I think the Firefox does the same. I want to click on the My Stat Lab. So I still have that open. If I go click on the homework problem, this is still open. So the standard deviation, and I'm going to round to 1 decimal place, which I would do because those are integers, Standard deviations right here. You have to make sure you read the right number. I almost read the standard error. 797.7. So 797.7. I just click back on the homework problem, and that is in the same units as the data, which is dollars. Check answer. Excellent. The variance. This is something else I got out of StatCrunch. I hover over my Chrome or my Firefox icon. I go back and make sure I click on the one that looks like StatCrunch. The variance is 636, and it says round to one decimal place, so it's going to be a 0.3. 636,307. 636,307.3. Now, I should have written that down. This is in dollars squared. The variance is the one that's squared. Check answer. Now the question is about outliers. This gets a little more complicated. So I'm going to pick up the pen here. Hopefully this will let me draw. I haven't had much success with this particular pen, but outliers. I want to take the mean minus 2 standard deviations. Outliers are going to be less than this. In this problem, that gets a little silly. 2 times the standard deviation. Or more than the mean plus 2 standard deviations. 2 times standard deviation. Now, I've done this on my calculator already. It turns out the mean, you end up, this one ends up being a negative 1190.5. None of these values are negative. Nobody pays you to do a wedding proposal at a stadium. So there are no low outliers. But it turns out the mean plus 2 standard deviations, and I apologize for the crudeness here, 2105.5. So I take the mean. If I look back at my StatCrunch, that was 457.5. Do I have any data points bigger than this? Yeah, I do. I have the 3,000. So, yes, the large amount. Now, is that much higher than the rest of the data? They are high, but I don't think it's having a large effect. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to put down this pen, and I'm going to pick. Well, let me do that. No, because I still have the pen. There you go. 3,000 to 1,500. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay, outliers do affect data, so I go and pick the other one. Do the final check. Yes. So outliers affect measures of variation. That's the point of that. You find an outlier by finding that those boundaries we talked about, where you do the mean minus 2 times the standard deviation, and anything below that is an outlier. The mean plus 2 times the standard deviation. Anything above that is an outlier. So that's an example of homework problem number 12. And how you use StatCrunch to give you a whole bunch of information about your data. You're going to want to watch a video about the 5-number summary and box plots. And I will show you how you can use StatCrunch to do that. But I will also do a 5-number summary out by hand. Okay, thank you for watching. Email me your questions.